This is our third video from Spartans 500 most important words. Our first word here is gnome. Gnome means dwarf. Okay, G is silent here. Gnome is dwarf. Gnome is a noun. Our next word is torpede. So you can memorize this torpid and torpor together, right? Torpor is a noun, torpid is an adjective. Torpid means not active because you are lazy or sleepy. Example, a torpid mind. Similarly, torpor means a state of being inactive. Example, he had sunk into an intellectual torpor, right? So torpid, torpor means inactivity, being lazy or sleepy. So this empty is nothing but memory trick. You can memorize this way as well. A topper is normally a diligent person who is a hardworking person. A person opposite to diligent person is an inactive person. So inactive person can never become a topper, right? So torpor, torpid. That way you can memorize both the words. Our next word is insipid. Insipid is an adjective. Insipid means lacking taste or flavor or tang, right? Or insipid is also a bland diet. Insipid means a bland diet. Or insipid food or drink is actually doesn't taste good, right? So if a food or drink is insipid, it means that they doesn't actually taste good, right? Example, an insipid pasta dish. That means tasteless pasta dish. Similarly, insipid means not interesting, exciting or attractive. So insipid not only refers to only for taste, okay? Insipid can also refer to an interest. Not having being interesting, not being exciting or not being attractive is also called insipid, right? So example, insipid colors. That means not attractive colors. Memory trick for insipid is you sip a tea when it is tasty, but you don't sip a tea when it is not tasty, right? In means not. In means not. You don't sip because the tea is insipid. That way you can memorize, but then I suggest you memorize words based on their meanings, okay? Mnemonics or these memory tricks are secondary. Don't just rely on them completely. First of all, your focus should be on learning a word through its meaning and usage, right? Only then you can retain those words for a long time. Also, first of all, the secret for learning vocabulary is developing intense interest. Okay, you should develop a lot of interest to learn vocabulary. That way your learning will be very easy. So insipid means lacking taste or lacking excitement, right? So lacking interestness is called insipid. Bland is an adjective. Bland means without any excitement, strong opinions or special character. Bland means having dull, bland taste. So insipid, bland is one and the same, okay? A few bland comments means a few excitement, a few dull comments, right? Similarly, a food that is bland has very little taste. That means it is tasteless. So bland and insipid means tasteless or not exciting. Our next word is itinerant. Itinerant is an adjective. Itinerant means traveling from place to place, especially to work. Example, itinerant workers. So if you memorize this example, itinerant workers, that means you can memorize this itinerant as well. So something which involves traveling from place to place. So itinerant workers travel from place to place to work, right? Our next word is itinerary. So itinerary, itinerant is related, right? Itinerary is a noun. Itinerary is like a map or a plan or list of places you will visit on a journey. So before you start your long journey, right, you normally maintain an itinerary with you. That list having all the places to visit in certain order, right? It can be itinerary, can also be a map as well, or a plan or a list of places to visit, right? All these things are itinerary. Our next word is lucid. Lucid is an adjective. Lucid means expressed in a way that is clear and easy to understand. Example, you must write in a clear and lucid style. Just memorize this example, thereby you will be easily memorizing this lucid as well, right? You must write in clear and lucid style. Another meaning of lucid is able to understand and think clearly. Example, in her most lucid moments, the old lady would talk about her past. So in her most lucid moments means at the time when she was able to think clearly, okay, the old lady would talk about her past. Now Second example, he was lucidly aware of political realities. So he was lucidly aware of political realities means he could clearly understand, or he was clearly aware of all the political realities, right? Lucid means very clear. Our next word is lurid. Lurid is an adjective. Lurid means a description, story, etc. that is lurid is deliberately shocking and involves sex or violence. So something which is very explicit is called lurid. You see here, lucid and lurid are completely different. Okay, lucid means very clear. Lurid is a description, story, etc. that is lurid is deliberately shocking and involves sex or violence. That is lurid. Another meaning of lurid is too brightly colored, okay, which is gaudy. That is called lurid. Our next word is conscience. Conscience has several meanings. Let us go through all those meanings, right? Conscience is a noun. Conscience means the part of your mind that tells you that whether what you are doing is morally right or wrong. That is conscience. Similarly, you have very good usages for conscience, okay? So phrasal verbs kind of things. So whenever you are using these kind of phrasal verbs in your AVA section, when in your essays, it will be very effective and you will have definitely some edge or others, right? Now, guilty or troubled conscience. Guilty or troubled conscience means a guilty feeling because you have done something wrong. Example, it was guilty conscience that made him offer to help, okay? So if you have a troubled conscience or if you have a guilty conscience, that means you are having a guilty feeling, so that because you have done something wrong. Okay. Similarly, prisoner of conscience. Prisoner of conscience means someone who is in prison because of their political or religious beliefs. So that particular person is called prisoner of conscience. Similarly, we have one more usage for conscience, that is prick one's conscience. Okay, prick one's conscience. So, example, the dog's sad look pricked her conscience, means made her feel guilty, and she took him home. Okay, prick one's conscience means something which makes you feel guilty. Similarly, prisoner of conscience means someone who is in prison because of his political beliefs or religious beliefs. Similarly, if you have a troubled conscience or a guilty conscience, that means you are feeling guilty because you have done something wrong. We have one more usage called twinge or pang of conscience. So Ian felt a pang of conscience at having misjudged her. So if someone is getting a feel of guilt, we can say a pang of conscience or a twinge of conscience, right? Now, not in or not in good conscience. Not in all conscience or not in good conscience. Meaning, if you cannot in all conscience do something, you cannot do it because you think it is very wrong. Example, I couldn't in all conscience tell him that his job was safe. So that means something bad had happened about his job and he was not actually feeling good to tell him that still his job is safe. In reality, on reading this example, you should understand that that particular person's job is at risk, okay? But this particular person, he is not having a good feeling to say that the fact that his job is at risk. So, if you read this example, you should understand this. So, example is, I couldn't in all conscience tell him that his job was safe. Our next word is Unleaven. Unleaven is a verb. Unleaven means to make something more interesting. Unleaven means to make something more interesting. Example, humor can help enliven a dull subject. Humor can help enliven a dull subject. Enliven means to make something more interesting. Our next word is demented. Demented is an adjective. Demented means crazy or behaving in a very strange way. Example, she was almost demented with grief. Or suffering from dementia is also called demented. So demented means crazy or behaving in a strange way, something which is related to mental thing, right? She was almost demented with grief. So she was almost crazy with grief, right? And she was behaving in an unruly way, right? Next, Dementia. What is dementia? Dementia is a noun. Dementia means an illness that affects your brain and memory and makes you gradually lose the ability to think and behave normally, right? So that is called dementia. An illness that affects the brain and memory and makes you gradually lose the ability to think and behave normally. That is dementia. Now, knack. Next word is knack. Knack is a noun. Knack means a natural skill or ability to do something. So, knack is nothing but talent. Knack for doing something. Here you see the proper preposition for knack is for. So, knack for doing something. Example, some people seem to have a knack for making money. So these kind of usages in your AVA will definitely be helpful, right? So it will definitely boost your score. Knack for something. You should not say knack at something. Okay, knack for doing something. That is correct. Our next word is knave. Knave means the playing card with a value between the 10 and the queen. That means jack. The jack card is also called knave. Also, knave means a dishonest person. A dishonest man or a boy is called a knave. Also, cunning or knavish tricks, right? So, cunningness is called knave. Now, assertive is an adjective. Assertive means behaving in a confident way so that people will notice you. Example, assertiveness training. So, being assertive is always good. Okay. Next word is gotch. Gotch is an adjective. Gotch means doing or saying wrong or impolite things, especially because you do not know the right way to behave. So, doing something wrong or doing something impolite things because you don't know the right way to behave, right? So, that is gotch. People from village normally they will not have some etiquettes, right? People who are well polished and living in cities, they follow certain etiquettes, whereas people coming from rural area or villages will not have those etiquettes, right? So doing things in a wrong way is called gotch. Okay, example, it would be gotch to mention the price. Next word is ineptitude. Ineptitude is a noun. Ineptitude means lack of skill. So here you need to know two words, adept and inept. Adept is skillful, inept is not being skillful, right? So lacking of skill is called inept. So ineptitude is the noun form of inept. Example, the ineptitude of the people in charge. Our next word is regress. Regress is a verb. Regress means to go back to an earlier and worse condition or to a less developed stage, less developed way of behaving. So regress means it is exactly opposite to progress, right? If you move forward, it is progress. If you move backward, it is regress. So regress means going back to the previously worse condition. That is called regress, or going back to a less developed stage is also called regress. Example, the patient had regressed to a stage of childish dependency, right? Our next word is relay. Relay as a noun means if people do something in relays, several small group of people do it, okay, one group after another, so that the activity is continuous without breaking chain. Example, we can say a relay race. If you take a relay race, what happens is a person starts running and after some time he hands over this particular stick. It can be anything, right? He hands over this particular thing to the another runner, so that once he hands over it to this person, he runs, right? And he can stop here and he will start running. So that way the activity of running will be continuous, right? Now that is a relay. Relay means if people do something in relays, they do in several groups and that too continuously, right? Now relay as a verb means to pass a message from one person to another person or from one place to another place is called relay. Relay is nothing but pass on. As a verb it means to pass on something. If you notice here, this person is actually relaying some kind of object, right, to this next runner. Example, he quickly relayed this news to the other members of staff. See the nice usage here, relayed this news to the other members of the staff. So make sure you know all these kind of words and you start using these kind of good words in your AVA section, right? These are not actually heavy words, these are very decent vocabulary, which clearly shows that you are a well polished reader. Now, scorn. Scorn is a verb. Scorn means to criticize someone or something because you think they do not deserve respect. Example, he scorned the government's record in dealing with crime. Similarly, scorn as a noun means contempt. So scorn or contempt means the feeling that someone or something is stupid or does not deserve respect. So having very low feeling on someone is called scorn, hating, right? Despising, scorn, despise, hate, all these are one and the same. Contempt, all these are related words. So impious is an adjective. Impious means lacking respect for religion or God, impiety. So we have a related word here, imp. Imp means not having any respect, okay, unruly kind of behavior. Impious means lacking respect for religion or God, impiety. Here if you see, impiety means it is something lacking respect towards God, whereas piety means reverence towards God, okay. Piousness, we say piousness also, right? Piousness, piety, impiety, all these are related words again. Similarly, next word is slither. Slither is a verb. Slither means to slide somewhere over a surface, twisting or moving from side to side. A snake slithered across the grass. Now you should be knowing the meaning of slither, right? The movement, how a snake moves, that particular movement is called slithering, slither. Our next word is incessant. Incessant is an adjective. Incessant means not having any break, continuous without stopping or constantly doing something is called incessant. Breakless, okay. Example, the child's incessant talking started to irritate her. So memorize these usages, right? That will help you immensely to memorize a word, to master a word. Similarly, we have one more example, incessant rain. Our next word is eternal. Eternal is an adjective. Eternal means continuing forever and having no end. Example, the Christian promise of eternal life. Second example, she is an eternal optimist. That means she always expects that good things will happen. See here, there is a very good usage, eternal optimist. So being eternal optimist means expecting that something good will happen, so indefinitely, okay. So there is no chance of being pessimistic for her. So whenever you want to say he is too optimistic, better use it as a eternal optimistic, right? He always, instead of saying he is always optimistic, you say he is an eternal optimist. That way you are conveying that he always be in a positive state, right? That is the proper usage. Now another meaning of eternal is seeming to continue forever. Example, the eternal arguments between mother and son. Next word is eternal truth. Eternal truth means principles that are always true. So eternal truths, sun rises in the east, it's an eternal truth, okay. So there are certain principles which are always true, right? I can say one more eternal truth is no pains, no gains, right? That is also an eternal truth. Similarly, eternal triangle, this is a completely different meaning. Eternal triangle means the difficult situation that occurs when two people have a sexual relationship with the same person. So eternal triangle, having sexual relationship with the same person is called eternal triangle, right? Now perpetual. Perpetual is an adjective. Perpetual means continuous all the time without changing or stopping. Perpetual, pervasiveness, okay. Pervasive means existing everywhere, pervasive. Similarly, perpetual means continuing all the time without changing or stopping. Perpetual means ever running, okay. Perpetual. Indignation. Next word is indignation. Indignation is a noun. Indignation means a feeling of anger or surprise because you feel insulted or unfairly treated. That is indignation. So a feeling of anger. Why you are getting anger? Because you feel that you are insulted or you are unfairly treated. So the anger you get out of this kind of treatment is called indignation. Example, to his indignation. Again the usage you see here, it is a very good usage, to his indignation. To his indignation, Charles found that his name was not on the list. Right? Now, second example, Louis' voice quivered with indignation. Right? Our next example, her indignation at such rough treatment was understandable. Right? Our next example, he stormed into her office full of righteous indignation. Okay, done. So next word is contempt. Contempt, you know this, It is a noun, a feeling that someone or something is not very important and they actually doesn't deserve respect. So having a feeling that others do not deserve proper respect, that feeling is called contempt. So you despise them, you hate them, you look down upon them, right? Next meaning of contempt is a complete lack of fear about something. Example, his contempt for danger. That means he is not at all considering this danger an important entity, right? He is actually not looking down on this danger, right? So his contempt for danger. Similarly, contempt means disobedience or disrespectful towards law of court. That is also called contempt. So you say you heard something like contempt of court, right? That's it. Our next word is rescind. Rescind is a verb. Rescind means to officially end a law or change a decision or agreement. See, revoke. Rescind means to revoke or cancel or to nullify. Okay, that is called rescind. Rescind means to go back on words or to go back on promise, right? Or to cancel certain things or to revoke or to cancel or to nullify something is called rescind. Similarly, recede is different. Recede means going back. So example, if your hair recedes, you gradually lose the hair. So you say that a receding hairline. Okay, if someone is having hairline here, when they get older, this hairline start receding back and back, so that he gets a bald head, right? So receding means going back. Whereas rescind means to officially cancel something, right? Nullify, cancel, or revoking. That is called rescind. This is recede. Rescind, recede. Both are different. Next word is decamp. Decamp means to leave a place very quickly, right? Example, the wealthier inhabitants decamped to the suburbs. Suburb means a place which is far away from the center of the city. So decamp means to leave a place quickly. Our next word is incapacitate. Incapacitate means to make you feel ill or weak so that you won't be able to work normally. That is incapacitating, right? Example, her mother has been incapacitated by a fall. Another meaning of incapacitate is to stop a system or a piece of equipment etc. from working properly. Example, a successful attack would incapacitate a military training camp. Incapacitate means actually to make you not to work as efficiently as you can, right? So this is our end of part 3. Thank you.